What's going on, guys? Today we're checking out a Maschinen Krieger MOOC here. This is a part of the Archive series, the Maschinen Krieger in SF3D Archive. This is volume 5. I think we've taken a look at every other volume in the series so far. They're awesome. This volume is covering from 2016 January to 2017 May. So a kind of short window, it would seem, just a little over a year, but this is a pretty thick issue here for this one, and there's a lot of stuff inside covering different publications and works from that time period. It looks like different model kit releases and stuff. So a lot of really cool stuff in this one. Let's go ahead and get into it for today's video. All right, so let's get into it here with this lovely diorama scene here on the front. We move this. We've got the snowman suit there with this gladiator and our figure here with the jerry can dressed up with this Santa jacket and a Santa beard on it. I love it. That's really cool. And underneath the dust jacket, let's see just what we got here. Just another image there of the gladiator here in monochrome, and on the inside of the dust jacket here, some other publications of Max Watanabe's Maschinen Krieger works, the Maschinen Krieger in SF3D book series, and this one, which is the SAFS book, which is one that I still would like to get. But the price for this one, 6,050 yen. So this one as well, it's a little bit pricey, but not that bad. With the conversion rate being as it is now, I think it was around $40, something like that, 40 something plus shipping. Not all that bad, and is a pretty thick one. Here's some other different Maschinen Krieger books, the rest of the Archive series, that SAFS book, and some other ones there on the underside of the dust jacket there on the back, and on the inside of that, some other publication works here, of course, from Yokoyama-san, SF3D books, and the Maschinen Krieger modeling book. This is the Maschinen Krieger modeling book 2, but there is also, of course, a book 1. So some cool stuff there. Let's get into it. So yeah, our total pages is about 144 to the very last credits page there. So the last couple pages are a bunch of serialization list here. This is our serialization list, and you can see what stuff's covered by volume. So volume 1 covers 2010 to 2011, volume 2, volume 3, volume 4. Now we're on volume 5. Volume 6 will be coming in the future, and that will cover some more stuff. So always looking forward to future volumes of this series. All right, so let's get into it. On the front couple of pages here, we've got the contents, and it's kind of going through. This is January, February, March. So by month, this is going to be a collection of different works, and you can just kind of look back to different product releases and works that have been featured in different publications. There's some really cool behind the scenes stuff that we get in here. So this archive series is great because it's just an archive, right? It's a collection of just kind of everything. So if you're a fan of the Maschinen Krieger model kits, these are fantastic. So even though we do now have the Kyoto model kit of the Gladiator, this is from January 2016. This is a garage kit, I guess, a garage kit of that. So this is in what scale? 120 scale. Yeah, 120 scale. The Kyoto kit, of course, is in 1/35 scale. But there you go. We got Max and Koyokoyama-san there together posing with that. Love the camo pattern scheme on this one. And those big blue eyes, I think I'll call it bright eyes. And it looks like this one was molded in, well, it's a garage kit, so that means it's resin, right? But so maybe it's just got a silver base. I was gonna say molded in silver, but I would imagine that that's just a silver base coat for it. And then all the painting's done on top of the silver. So that looks awesome. And this, I guess, is the decal sheet for that. I would assume that that would have been produced by Rainbow Egg, but I guess maybe not. I was looking for anywhere on there that might say. Obviously, all the text in here is going to be in Japanese, so it's worth, going through with your phone, translator app, and just kind of translating everything to really get the full experience out of this. But here's kind of an interesting comparison of a couple different releases of the Gladiator compared there, and all interestingly also all painted in the same kind of color scheme. So some cool stuff there on that one. We got the playback new item, January issue 2016 here of the Vega / Alter release of the Hund. This one's super cool. I really like the Alter version with the blade antennas there on the back. Really cool. And just being that Forbidden Planet is one of my all-time favorite movies, And I like to think that Koyokama-san is also a fan, and that's why he chose Altair for the name of this release, as that's the name of the planet and one of the characters in that movie. If you guys have never seen it, definitely check it out, as it's absolute peak classic sci-fi cinema from 1956. It's an old one, but there's just a lot to love about that movie. If you've never seen it, check out Forbidden Planet. Here we got the Vega and Alter versus Super Prowler. So some really cool space photography here for this one. These look awesome there with that nice dramatic, very like high contrast lighting on there, and just great photography in here, of course. So these look really cool. Love this dark color scheme. I would just be scared to paint anything like in this dark color scheme. Actually, I should say I have done it sort of like that, similar, as part of the color scheme that I used on the Nutcracker kit that I painted was very dark like that. And I just felt like, oh, this is too dark. It's not gonna like look good because you're not gonna really be able to see anything. But it's really cool how like even on like when you're painting like a really dark color like this on these kits, how you can still like make out like the subtle differences, like the subtle like color imperfections and things like that still come through, and it still looks very, very good. So I feel like I'm kind of like scared to do it, but like that color scheme looks great on this one. I can't say that I'm as big of a fan of the red and black color scheme that you sometimes see used on some Maschinen Krieger kits. It's not one of my favorite color schemes necessarily, but some great builds here. These ones are super cool as well. Love those with the yellow accents on that one. That looks awesome. I'm not really sure what this head part is here that you can see on a couple of these builds. I'm guessing that was also like a garage kit, like set that you could get, like upgrade set or something there. Or I don't know, it looks like a lot of these are just like scratch build. But anyway, so interesting. Maschinen Krieger in SF3D explanations. So again, some more text here. Really need to spend some time just going through and just like translating a bunch of this, because I'm sure there's just loads of awesome information. Here's about some of the Love Garden sets there as well. There's some cool stuff there with the Krote, or the Krote, and once again the Gladiator here. So this is the Wave 120 scale Gladiator model kit. This is the late production type second part here. Cool photography here with this one too. You can see like the unit right here in focus, but it's like out only like half in the photo, and the other unit back there, which is like much better kind of like framed sort of, but it's there kind of out of focus there in the background. Kind of cool photography here for this one. But once again, beautiful painting here on this. I love this color scheme a lot there that we saw on the previous one as well as on this one. That looks really nice. You got some nice work in progress photos down here as well. It looks like using some metal rod there for those parts. Oh my, there you go. That's kind of interesting, sort of like a Godzilla head sort of looking on this, or I don't know, it looks, because of like the bump on the head, reminds me of like a Brachiosaurus, but obviously Brachiosaurus aren't gonna have these like big sharp teeth on there. So I don't know, sort of like a dinosaur head anyway there for the front of that. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. I feel like all like the different color patterns and camo patterns and stuff, you know, I've seen a lot of them over the years, but it's always cool to see one that I don't think that I've ever seen before. So here we go. Here's another release there from Love Garden. That one, which I guess was maybe featured in the Maschinen Krieger modeling book 2. Here's a Love Garden 1/35 scale resin kit for the Mark 52G Gargoyle conversion. The Mark 52W Wyvern. This one's from April 2016 here. Kind of interesting. So this is a Robot Battle 5 series release for this one, sort of similar to the Ammo Knights, the Mark 44. Pretty crazy. I think this was the one that like the original design used like the Dom parts from like a 1/100 scale Dom kit for like those leg parts there, for example, and it's just like a mix of a bunch of different stuff there, obviously, but pretty wild design there for that one. Here we got another one here on the next page, and I love this build of it here in nice like sort of like a launch hangar sort of thing. Can't really tell what that's made of. It's just made of like a bunch of different parts and everything, but it looks awesome. Super like realistic looking there for that, and that is going to look great here in this like dynamic photograph there with the lighting, just to make it look like it's actually in space there. The Mark 52C cockatrice. They're very interesting. That's cool. So it's moving on then a little bit more with that. I'm not going to be able to like explain every single thing in here about this in detail just because that would just make the video, number one, way too long. Number two, I just don't have that good of extensive knowledge about a lot of this stuff to be able to share without going through and translating everything live as I'm going through it. Basically, the point of these videos is just to kind of go through and say, ooh, wow, there's a lot of really cool stuff in there. So some of this stuff we're not going to be spending a lot of time on. We'll just kind of be like flipping through, and then some of this stuff I just will not really have any knowledge of what it is exactly that we're looking at without, like I said, doing live translation. But all that aside, here is the Krote. This one's from May 2016. Cool color scheme here for that with the sort of grinning clown face sort of look on this one with the white and yellow color scheme is really cool there on that. I like this one too. I was just saying before how I didn't really like the red and black color scheme. This one I like more just because it's predominantly red with like a little bit of black on the front. It's the other red and black color scheme which you see a lot on suits. I'm not exactly sure what's like the background of that color scheme. This one here that we saw before, but this one is the one that I was referring to, which was not one of my favorites. But anyway, this one I like a lot, and especially this kind of blue-gray there. That one looks really cool as well. Really love just the different versions of the Krote as a kit. I don't know. It's hard to say which one's like one of my favorites. I was going to say it's like one of my favorites, but I don't know. It's really hard to choose a favorite in this series, but it's definitely one that I like a lot. We have the Gans down here. It's another one that I like a lot as well, which is kind of very similar. Uses some similar parts and some new parts, different parts and everything. So SAFS Mark III Rigard Remix here from, this is using a Rainbow Egg 120 scale conversion kit here for this. I think basically for like the cannon on that, maybe some other parts in there as well. But this looks really nice here. So as we're seeing, there's a good mix of some of like the actual plastic model kit releases, like from Wave, and then a lot of the like resin garage kits and stuff like that featured in here as well, which would be the kind of thing that like outside of going to like Wonderfest in Japan and getting them for yourself there, probably a little bit hard to come by and expensive, I would assume. Even getting them like directly, they're going to be expensive just because they're like independently produced garage kits, right? But you know, getting them, you know, secondhand from somebody, even more so expensive. So here's an interview section that we've got here. Again, I'm sure very interesting with some cool like background information and stuff. So maybe what I will do is just go through and maybe work on translating like just not the entire thing because it'd be way too much, but like maybe like just this couple of pages and posting that somewhere online. Obviously, I want to incentivize you guys to actually buy a copy of this yourself. You know, I don't want to give you guys like all the content of this basically for free. I want to encourage you to, you know, obviously support the producers, in this case, supporting, you know, Hobby Japan, but then also Max and Koyokama-san and everybody involved, you know. But I think sharing some of the content, you know, translated for, you know, everybody to enjoy would be nice to do. So maybe something I'll work on at some point. But here's from, looks like a Maschinen Krieger like modeling get together, which you sometimes see that they have there in Japan, of course, with some cool builds over here with the Ma.K series. Those are pretty cool, those bases there. Here's a couple more images from that event of some like of these larger, much larger, really cool looking model kits there. This one here with this UFO model kit and this beam there going down on the boy. That's pretty awesome. So some really cool stuff. Very inspiring here. Oh, this is really cool. You got like a kit bash here with the head part of a Hygog model kit. That's pretty awesome. So some cool stuff. Here's with a frame arms girl inside there as well. It's like a Jinrai inside the body of like a Zok mixed with some different parts there. It's pretty wild. All right, so over here we've got some original artwork, some original illustration artwork there which looks awesome. And then here, this SAFS pilot, Gigantisch Baum. I'm not really sure. This is a 1/6 scale action figure modeled by Max Watanabe there. So very interesting. So I wonder what the actual model kit is in 1/6 scale. I guess it's a, okay, so it's a 1/6 scale action model kit, SAFS there, and 1/6 scratch build female pilot figure by Max Sun. So that's pretty crazy. So there's a 1/6 scale, like I guess not kit, but a figure of the suit, and then Max apparently scratch built this pilot figure to go in there. That's crazy. It's got like the real hair and everything there too. I always find on like when people, I see this sometimes on like frame arms kits or something like that. Sometimes this is a little bit larger, being in like 1/6 scale, but even in 1/6 scale, when I see people using like real hair on these model kits, I can't say that I'm a fan. I don't think that it really looks very good. It sort of looks too weird. It's sort of like that uncanny valley thing to see the real hair on a model kit build like that. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Okay, so really cool 1/150 scale of this Gigantisch Baum. I don't really know what this is exactly, but it looks awesome. This looks like something that like Jackie would make, the modeler there out in Australia. Previous GBWC winner for Australia, makes some really cool stuff. This is almost something that I could imagine like that he would make, but this looks really cool. Really awesome painting on that. Very interesting kit bash of all sorts of stuff. I mean, I can't really even tell exactly what's all in this and what's going on, but it looks crazy. Looks very, very cool. All right, this is wild. Looking at this like custom build here, at first I thought, okay, it's just like a custom build of the Falke, but then realizing like, whoa, wait, it's got like a lot of different parts. The fins on the side are very different, and just like the overall shape is much like longer. It's very different. This Shrike here, it's in 1/20 scale, it says. So you would imagine it's like similar to the Falke, which is about like kind of something like this size, not that big. But as the more I look at it, I can see, okay, yeah, it's very different, like a similar shape, but it's definitely not just like a modified Falke kit. It's like completely scratch built here, which you can see from the couple of work in progress images. And they're seeing it in full size, how big it is. Like it's huge there. So that's pretty crazy how big that is. It looked pretty large from the photos, but it's even bigger than what I was expecting. So that is really, really crazy. That's super cool. These are some really cool color versions of the Kangaroo, which we, again, recently had out as a Kyoto model kit in 1/35 scale. But these are before that. But here you can see with like the black-brown color scheme there with the orange color band on it. It looks cool. And then I like this purple one, this red one. So some really cool color versions of that. Some nice ideas for painting that Kyoto kit if you also recently got that one. Oh, there's those beard parts that we had for the snowman that's on the cover. And it even has the Santa Jack and everything as well. So that must have been another kind of just like a garage kit release there, it looks like. You got the leopard and kangaroo that we saw on the front inside cover pages there. I love this version of the Mark 44 as well there with that camo pattern. It's like a different camo pattern from what's on the actual suit here on the gun. That's actually really, really cool. Sort of a very different style from what you would typically see on a weapon like that. But that's the Mark 44B Hammer Knight kit there. That's awesome. These ones as well have some really cool colors on them. And this looks like that's the illustration from the box art, I think, for that release. And this camo pattern as well, which is one I've never attempted, but always just seems like way too difficult for me. Maybe someday I'll try it, but I'm not sure the name of this camo pattern. But yeah, I don't know. Have you guys ever tried it before? It just seems I don't know, very tricky to do, and so I haven't been confident enough in my skills to be able to attempt to try to pull that off. It's really cool and looks very interesting, but I just don't think I have the skills to pull it off yet, so I don't know. Some more nice colors and nice painting here on these couple of kits. As we're getting kind of close to the end here, we've got the A8R8 kit. That one was really popular. That one came out, in 2017? Well, I guess that's the 120 scale resin kit, I guess, but since then we have a wave version of the A8R8, which I think has been very popular. It's just one that I feel like I've seen like a ton of people build. You know, with any of these releases, you always kind of see a lot of people building them. I guess if you're in the right spaces, I follow a lot of Maschinen Krieger builders on Twitter, and so I see a lot of their builds all the time, but I don't know, the AR8 was one I feel like I saw especially a lot. I think it was because it was one of the cheaper ones too, so I think there was probably a lot of people that were maybe kind of new or fairly new, or like just kind of starting to dip their toes into Maschinen Krieger, especially like modelers outside of Japan that wanted to try it out, and the AR8 kit was like kind of cheaper. As it's like a fairly simple suit, so maybe that like people were inclined to want to buy that kit to check it out just because it was like a cheaper option and a new release. So here we have the Winter Mute set from the box art there, of course, or I guess not the box art, but the cover art of the magazine, I should say, or of this issue of this MOOC. I can't really get it out, but I love the fact that aside from all of our Maschinen Krieger like character models that we have in here, including like different like garage kit like resin character models, like the Santa Girl one there as well. Then we also have this Max Factory, Minimum Factory kit in there as well. I can't remember the name of this one offhand. It's escaping me. But I love that we've got that one in there as well, because I'm a big fan of the Minimum Factory kits. So, and it would make sense with Max being involved. All right, getting close to the end. We've got the Hammer Knight, as I mentioned, is there. That one looks awesome. I've got, I think it is a Hammer Knight. I've got a couple of different versions of the Mark 44, like basically built and ready for paint that I just have not painted yet. And I think the Hammer Knight is one of them. So should get around to finishing that at some point. I've got a couple of those that are basically all paint ready. There's some really cool paint patterns here on these. Those are really nice looking. So some more builds of those. I like these character models along with this one, with those suits. Look really nice. I like that. Very different kind of style to them from what we see a lot. We got the Snake Eye Search Operation type unicorn. It has the big unicorn snoot on it, sort of. It's more about the Gachinen series, which I also need to review some more of those Gachinen, because I have like the final set, which I've had for a long time, and I still have not gotten around to just like making a video about it. This is really cool. I like this off-white and orange camo scheme here on this one. That's definitely one that I'll have to stick up there in the old memory bank to try to borrow for a future release. It's kind of different how it's like orange and off-white, but how different these two look, with this one being more of like a tan and bright orange, and this one being just like off-white and a pale like pastel orange. And it's like essentially sort of like the same colors, but like quite the difference between the two, right? So those look really cool. I love the like the crocodile face painted on that one. Something I've seen that one before, but it's always fun to see. All right, last couple bits here, and that's pretty much just about gonna do it for this issue of Archive. What did you guys enjoy from this issue? There's a lot of really cool stuff in there, as always. And yeah, it's just one thing that I just think that I'm going to need to spend some more time with this translating to, like I said, really get like the full value out of this. But there's some great stuff in here, as always. So if you're a fan of the Maschinen Krieger series, definitely check out this Archive MOOC series, because they're great as an archive of lots of different stuff there, as you saw. Love to see like the photos from the different events and things like that in there as well too, so that's really cool. A lot of great stuff in there. Let me know what you enjoyed most from this issue, from this volume in the comment section, and make sure you're subscribed if you're not subscribed yet to see more Maschinen Krieger stuff in the near future. And although we don't typically have a lot of Maschinen Krieger model kits here at USA Gundam Store, you can check the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store, check out what is available. Otherwise, there's of course plenty of tools, paints, and supplies there for working on your Maschinen Krieger model kits, as well as everything else. But you can check that link in the description, and if you enjoyed the video, leave a like as well while you're here before you go. Thanks so much for watching today, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.